we perhaps will do a bit of a sort of intro. Is that okay, do you think? So people could introduce themselves and then you'll all get to know. And can I just point out on your front sheet, you can put names to faces. The names of all the members of this committee are there on that front sheet and who they represent. So I'll begin by saying that my name's Chris Burke and I'm the Roman Catholic representative. I became involved in SACRE because at one time I was a county councillor and sat on SACRE. And so it occurred to the Catholic Church at some stage to put me back on later on in their wisdom. And then you elected me as chair, so in your wisdom. So there we go. I am a city councillor as well. I'm involved in a lot of faith work in other areas. And I will mention I've taken on the role as chair of trying to extend our reach, including more groups from different denominations. And I think that's actually worked out quite well. And we've I think we might get two representatives of the Alive Church coming. That's not happened yet, has it? No. But they did indicate could they come and be observers, and we did agree to that, but they're not here yet. So if I go, shall I go to my left first of all, Emily? We'll end with you, Joseph, so you get to think about what you're going to say.
Hi, I'm Emily Wilcox, Senior Democratic Services Officer at Lincolnshire County Council, and can't start again. I'm back.
Hi everyone, I'm Gillian. I am interim RE advisor after the retirement of the local authority RE advisor back in April, and the other part of my day job is working with the diocesan RE advisor for Lincoln Diocese.
That's the Church of England Diocese.
Sorry, to be clear, Church of England, Anglican, not Catholic.
Ashley.
Hello.
Welcome back, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm Ashley Baxter. I'm still the independent councillor, county councillor for Deepings West and Rural. In my spare time, I'm the leader at South Kesteven District Council.
Welcome, Eve.
Hi, I'm Eve. I'm a humanist representative co-opted just over a year ago. Also a teacher of professional ethics and wellbeing by schools that are RE. That's in.
Thank you. Sean.
Sean Wade, a minister at the Assemblies of God Church, Bridge Church in Lincoln, and also my other hat is the Active Faith Youth Transform Lincoln, which is a network of churches in the city of Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Hornsby. I'm here representing the Methodist Church, but I am also a teacher.
Welcome back, Andrew. Welcome back, Sean.
Hello everyone, I'm Jolene.
Welcome.
Yes, so I'm not here yet. I will be taking over from Jill in September, so I'm here really as an observer, but I'm head of service for school strategy, previously head teacher, primary head teacher. So
I'm representing the Salvation Army, and I also work for County Council, so business support for the education team.
Welcome, sir.
I'm Brenda.
Welcome, Brent.
Brenda Coyle.
Birchwood Division in Lincoln here. I'm councillor. Yes, I'm looking forward to getting to know you all. Keep looking at nameplates and everyone at the moment. I'm really pleased to be on this committee.
We're pleased to have you. Jill. Welcome.
Hello everyone, I'm Jill Chandinar. I'm a team manager within education support at the local authority. I'm actually a team manager for education welfare and engagement. We've just changed our name, but as I'm not going to be here after the end of this term because Geraldine's taken over, but I manage the contract of the RE advisors at the local authority.
Joseph, welcome to your first committee. In every respect.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Hello, my name is Joseph. I'm the newest DSO hired by Lincolnshire County Council, and I've been invited to observe the meeting and just see what you do here.
And DSO, tell them what that is, Joseph, because they might not know.
Democratic Services Officer. So we work for the councillors and clerk the meetings.
And can I welcome Richard and Leram?
Yeah.
Leram, did you get it right? From Alive Church. You're very, very welcome to be here. We're very pleased that you wanted to come and observe. And if you want to make a contribution, feel free. And it's good to see you live here. And John's here as well, also from the Pentecostal community. Thank you very much. Right, I'll move on to the agenda. Have you got a copy of the agenda, guys? Oh, thanks, Emily. That was good. We always begin with opening reflections, and Gillian has very kindly volunteered to do that today.
My lovely colleague Lindsay, who is normally part of SACRE, had fairly major surgery a couple of weeks ago, and she would have been giving this reflection, so I am giving it on her behalf. This is a blessing for leaders, and I think this is very much, we have responsibilities for what thousands of children in this county are learning about in their various different schools and academies. So whether we feel like it or not, I think we are doing this as leaders of a sort. So this is a blessing from John O'Donoghue for leaders. May you have the grace and wisdom to act kindly, learning to distinguish between what is personal and what is not. May you be hospitable to criticism. May you never place yourself at the centre of things. May you act not from arrogance, but out of service. May you work on yourself, building up and refining the ways of your mind. May those who work with you know you see and respect them. May you learn to cultivate the art of presence in order to engage with those who meet you. When someone fails or disappoints you, may the graciousness with which you engage be their stairway to renewal and refinement. May you treasure the gifts of the mind through reading and creative thinking so that you can continue as a servant of the frontier where the new will draw its enrichment from the old and you will never become a functionary. May you know the wisdom of deep listening, the healing of wholesome words, the encouragement of the appreciative gaze, the decorum of held dignity, the springtime edge of the bleak question. May you have a mind that loves frontiers so that you can evoke the bright fields that lie beyond the view of the regular eye. May you have good friends to mirror your blind spots. May leadership be for you a true adventure of growth. John O'Donoghue. And again, if anyone wants it, I can send it. Thank you.
It'd be nice to send that round, Gillian, if you don't mind. Yeah, I think that was brilliant. Thank you very much. Apologies for absence, please.
Chairman, we have apologies from Lindsay Norris, Cherry Edwards, Mark Later and Councillor Paul Locke. I do just want to make members aware that because we don't have one representative from each of the committees, we are technically in quorum today, but the chairman, our terms of reference say we can continue, but any decisions will have to be ratified at the next meeting. Chairman's quite happy with that. I think it will just be the minutes that will need ratifying anyway.
Are we all okay with that, colleague?
Okay. Yes, actually, is it the unions that we will be in court?
Church of England, actually.
The Church of England.
The Church of England.
Actually, at the moment.
Outrageous.
The number you.
Yes, at the moment.
In fact, Liz Moore has been unwell, so you may not have had a formal apology from her, but she's off work at the moment.
And did Councillor Paul Locke indicate he might? Maybe he's.
He has sent his apology.
Oh, he said.
Yeah.
That's fine. If we could accept those apologies, colleagues. This is an item which councillors will now be very familiar with, declarations of members' interests. And if you have a declaration, feel free to make it now or at any point in the meeting. Minutes of the previous meeting of SACRE held on 25th of February. I think that was distributed, wasn't it? Was that gone out on email? So I could move to anything you want to raise from that, colleagues. We'll be happy to accept those minutes. Thank you. I haven't received any correspondence. We come to item 6, update on the locally agreed syllabus, of which you've already spoken from Victor.
Well, just to update you all that we have formally ratified the revised Lincolnshire syllabus. I have to extend huge gratitude to Claire with her work hat on for making sure that the document was ready to be sent to schools on the launch date. So it was formally launched to schools on the 2nd of July. Schools are engaging with the various training and support that has been offered by our former RE advisor, Wendy Harrison, who actually wrote this revised syllabus. We did give a message to schools that because it was with them much later than originally intended, because we did originally have a timeline that it would be out with them by Easter. So it was much later than that. As a result, we do not expect schools to be fully using this syllabus as the basis of their curriculum by September 2025, but that by September 2026, those that must use it should have it in place by then. So they should see the next academic year as a year of transition from what they had been doing to this revised version of the syllabus. My understanding is that there's quite a significant number of academies that are choosing to adopt this syllabus alongside the local authority schools that must use it as the basis of their RE. I think that's probably all I can say at this stage in terms of where we are at with the syllabus.
Yeah. Yes.
Do we have access to a final copy of it if we only have the draft?
Circulate it.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, colleagues. Yeah. Item 7, I refer you to pages 11 to 22 of your report. And I think I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Gillian. These items 7, 8 and 9 flow into each other.
They
Do you want to
do.
speak on those and then we take questions at the end?
Yeah, if that's all right with everyone.
Yeah.
The first item relates to Ofsted inspections. Now, one of the things that SACRE should be doing is keeping an eye on the provision for RE and the effectiveness of RE across Lincolnshire schools. I think it's fair to say in the last academic year as a SACRE, we've taken our eye off this ball a little bit because we've been in the depths of revising the locally agreed syllabus. So forgive me that this document is pages and pages and pages long. This is me trying to pull together as much as I can from the beginning of this calendar year up to the point that I actually wrote the report. What we are looking at here is the outcomes of Ofsted inspections in all different types of schools in Lincolnshire. I have given you the outcomes of those inspections. Now, those are general outcomes, so general gradings on the quality of education in those schools across the whole curriculum, not just RE, general gradings on pupils' behaviour, on their personal development, and so on and so forth. And then where there is anything that could be related to the teaching of RE, I've pulled it out. So just a little bit of a caveat on this. You will notice from this report that out of the, how many is it now? 30 odd schools, 32 schools that were inspected, only 3 of them actually had the RE looked at purposely by Ofsted inspectors. We have noted in the past that Ofsted inspectors seem to be a little bit allergic to looking at RE, often because they themselves don't really feel confident about what they're looking for. So we only have 3 schools that have specific comments relating to RE curriculum. They are all primary schools. So that's something to note. Where I pulled out these comments, they are more likely to relate to what is called the personal development judgments. So if an Ofsted inspector doesn't look at RE specifically, they will look at whether a child is being prepared well for life in modern Britain. And they will look particularly at whether a school is helping children develop the British values, as they're called, one of which is respect for and tolerance of those of different faiths and those of no faith. So RE could have come into that conversation about how far children's personal development is affected. A few things to draw your attention to. The vast majority of schools have positive comments relating to children's understanding of different faiths, beliefs, cultures, and so on. 13% of them have negative comments, and I've indicated those schools with a sort of an amber colour on the report. There are 3% of schools that have been inspected that have no comments at all relating to religion, belief, culture, anything like that. It's also worth noting, and this is me doing a little bit of digging, because I can sometimes see underneath what inspectors write. Of the secondary schools that were inspected, they all had positive comments about children's preparedness for life in modern Britain. And then I went on the school website, and 2 of the 3 that were inspected are in breach of statutory duties in relation to RE. So what that tells us is Ofsted did not pick that up. So they weren't looking for it.
Quite serious.
And actually, that means those young people are not getting their statutory entitlement to learn about different faiths and beliefs, and those of non-religious worldviews as well. They're not getting that. Therefore, they are not being well prepared for life in a global world where 80% of people globally do have a religious faith. So that there are concerns there that Ofsted is not picking up on when schools are in breach of their statutory duties. So that is something to notice.
Sorry, I don't understand what you've just told us.
So Ofsted has a responsibility to check that schools are meeting statutory duties. For example, safeguarding. Are they keeping children safe? One of the statutory duties schools have is that every child, every young person must have RE as part of their curriculum all the way up to the age of 18. In the secondary schools that were inspected, up to 18, in the schools that were inspected, there were generally positive comments in the report about children understanding, being prepared for life in Britain, being tolerant and respectful of difference and diversity. But on the school websites, there was an opportunity for students to opt to study RE at GCSE, but they didn't have to. And there was no provision for students who are in the sixth form. So what that's telling us is that not every student in those schools from GCSE up is actually having RE as part of their curriculum, and they should be. 2 out of the 3, the other one did have provision for every student, including in the sixth form.
So that's from year 9.
It's from year 10, really, year 10 up through to year 13.
So they're not getting.
They're not
They're
getting
not
on.
meeting the law from year 10 upwards. Has any school anywhere been told off?
To my knowledge, one school this academic year has been placed in special measures for failure to meet statutory duties, which included failure to teach RE in the whole school.
But it was one of a list of things.
Yeah, and it is a secondary school, not in this region, much further south in the country. So this is one of the issues I mentioned earlier on in our training session, is that if no one is holding the schools to account for breach of legal duties, why would they meet their legal duties? Why would they bother?
So would it need someone to take the school to task, or and would that be the job of the parent if the child isn't learning RE, or would it be our responsibility as a county or a group?
We can certainly raise concerns. So I know in other SACREs that I work with, SACRE has sent letters to all secondary schools and academies, and it is always secondary where this is an issue, to all secondary schools and academies to say, here are your legal duties. We are here to support you. How can we help? So, you can't, particularly if it's an academy, the local authority has no mechanism to hold an academy to account, because an academy is completely separate from the local authority. So a local authority body like this couldn't go to an academy and say, we're telling on you, you're in breach of your duties.
So who does? The Secretary of State?
Yes, Secretary of State.
Yeah. So in an academy, if a school, there is a secondary school near Grimsby, that was not teaching RE as part of the curriculum, a parent in that case complained to the funding agency because it sits on the funding agreement for academies, and the funding agency pulled the entire budget of the school until they put RE on the curriculum. So again, it's one of these different rules for different schools. For local authority schools, the mechanism is Ofsted. For academies, the mechanism is the funding agency. But what we know from analysing Ofsted reports is that a school can be in breach of its legal duties and Ofsted does not pick it up.
It's the funding agency the same as the Regional Schools Commissioner.
No, it's the ESFA, the Education Schools Funding Agency, which is specific to academies. Yeah. So this is one of the issues. This is one of the reasons why RE has been included in the review of the national curriculum, even though it's not on the national curriculum, because of this wide-ranging breach of legal duties across lots of secondaries.
So this is
Nationwide.
Professor Becky Francis.
This is, Professor Becky Francis's review will be considering the wide-scale breach of legal duties in secondary schools as part of her review. So we are hoping that one of the recommendations she makes will tighten that process of accountability.
I think I did on Ashley's point there, which I can see him asking, is what happens next then? That's what happens next.
Yeah.
And her original remit didn't include religious education, did it?
No.
That was a decision taken later. So I think we will follow that with great interest.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop SACRE writing to the Secretary of State. We've done that previously where we felt it was necessary. So that is an option always open to you. And if you feel if that's necessary, we can do that.
The next item then relates to the religious education support available for schools in the next academic year. You will be unsurprised to hear that a lot of very nervous head teachers have been getting in touch with us to say, okay, here's a new syllabus. What next? What do we do? The local authority will be providing a package of support and training for schools. We just need to be mindful that schools are also able to access training and support from independent providers, including Wendy, who obviously worked on the syllabus on behalf of SACRE. And I think there's a need for some clarity around the training and the support, because I think quite a lot of schools have assumed that the support Wendy is providing is the local authority support, because she has up until very recently been the local authority RE advisor. So, you know, there will be LA support. It is not the same as the support that Wendy is out providing schools at the moment. I've made some suggestions to the local authority of what that support could look like. It is just waiting for the formal appointment of a new RE advisor to then confirm that. But it would include things like providing regular network meetings for primary and secondary teachers who are using the syllabus, providing opportunities for groups of teachers to get together and support them to do planning using the syllabus. So, for example, groups that might focus on using the syllabus with pupils who have special educational needs and disabilities, SEND pupils, or early years pupils, or older pupils who are not doing a GCSE, for example. So working collaboratively with teachers. Also opportunities for actual training sessions. So training on, for example, the different types of knowledge in RE, the pedagogical approach, the religion and worldviews approach that this syllabus requires, things like assessment of RE and so on. So there is a whole package of support that we're hoping that the LA will be able to offer. We're hoping we'll be able to share that with schools early in autumn term. There's still clarity, I think, on, I'm not sure myself yet on whether all of that is free or whether any of that is generating income for the work of SACRE. I don't know. I'd have to hand over to
I've just seen on that contract that whilst I can't give you a final answer on who the RE advisor will be, just to let you know, it's well in hand there will be an appointment by September. All the suggestions that Gillian has given will be considered. In terms of cost, I think that will come out when the new advisor's in place and we settle the RE syllabus in place as well. So be assured that there, I don't think there will be a gap between in this current doing the interim anyway. So we'll do a smooth running into the new term.
Thanks for that, Chair. Yeah.
And then the last thing that I'm speaking to here is just to give you a general update. I've already mentioned it lots of times, the Francis review.
Yeah.
Becky Francis was commissioned by the government to review the national curriculum with a team of other researchers. She's been doing that for, I think, a full academic year at this point. And the team published an interim report around Easter time. I think it was sort of March time. She published an interim report. In the interim report, she noted the lack of national consistency for RE as a problem. Now, this is no surprise to any of us because we've been talking about this for 15 years or more. But the fact that she stated this can't continue has made RE organisations quite hopeful for what the final report might recommend. You, I think, just need to be aware that when the final report is published, she's aiming for autumn. In my experience, that means spring. So I think we might be looking at our spring meeting to perhaps have some space actually as an agenda item to discuss this report and its implications. It could have recommendations that really specifically affect this group. So just to flag that up and to make you aware that that is the case. I think that's all I really want to do there.
Thanks, Julie. In terms of item 10, we're thinking really just to note that at this stage, particularly given that we're not fully quorate, unless anybody particularly wants to speak to that. That's pages 23 to 28.
Mike, can I just
Yeah,
note
please.
something
Oh, yeah.
on that? So item 10 is the action plan we've been working on this year. And what we normally would do at this point is review it and check the impact of the actions that are on there. But we've obviously got a slightly different group because we've had a change of membership. The person who really drove on this was Cherry, our vice chair, and she's not able to be with us today. So that made it a little trickier to do this review. But we need one for next year. So I think it's just to note this, and if anybody had any sort of major issues they wanted to flag from the existing action plan that might help shape next year's action plan, to just let us know.
We okay with that, colleagues? Thank you. That takes us to the work programme, which at this stage is interim, isn't it? So
Yeah.
There's not really a lot to do with the work programme at this meeting, but there will be at the next. And reflections of the next meeting, it's been suggested if she's recovered, that Lindsay would do.
I just volunteered there, I just threw her right under the bus. Yeah.
Are we all okay with that, colleagues? Yeah, in Lindsay's absence.
Chair, could I just
Yes.
go back to actually a couple of the other items? The inspection reports, it's good to see that so many of the schools have got a special note for diversity, equality and inclusion. That's always positive. On the work programme, it talks about moving around. It's almost the first line, I think. The first line says, holding meetings in a variety of venues. We must be overdue by now for a field trip. I would happily invite you to Grantham, either to the council chamber or to a church venue, which there's a few in the neighbourhood, but also to meet some of the people in the community, particularly that. When is the next meeting ish?
November. 11th of
Okay, so that would be about not quite a month after Diwali. There might be some feedback from Nepalese for the Indian or the Tamil community about how Diwali was, if it's helpful and useful.
No, I'm very grateful, actually. But if I could ask you to work with Gillian around that, because that might be some other items on the agenda. I think you're suggesting that, which is good. There is
a railway station, actually.
English going to have a railway. There is, we've got some form on this, some history. In the past, we've met at the mosque. And I can tell you, I've recently discovered Lincoln now has 2 mosques. So I only know because I was invited to the second one. So, so that's, if I hark back to my time as racial equality officer for Lincolnshire, which is a very, very long time ago, Jill knows, one of the requirements at the time, we discovered 1,000 members of the Islamic community which wanted to worship in their own mosque. It took us about 20 years for that mosque to come into place. But now, quite soon after that, is another mosque. So that indicates the growth in diversity. And there is a representative from the Islamic community that normally comes. I think he's on holiday. But Dr. Tanwir Ahmed, who is also a leading academic in his own right, and you'll enjoy meeting him. He will come. So yeah, I mean, how do we feel about this? Are we okay? You're nodding. I've always liked the idea that we don't become too Lincoln-centric because we are a county-wide organisation. I think it's good if we can. So, are you happy to take Ashley up on his offer? Yeah, it's good, that good. And let's think about other locations as well. That's okay. Now, so the date and time of the next meeting is there on your agenda, 11th of November. Sorry.
Before we move on to that bit, I've had some a note from a member of another SACRE, something that we just need to note, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from my friend who works at does the RE course at Sheffield Hallam, and she's commenting on the fact that we have no places of worship in Lincolnshire that's listed on the RE Hub's website. Would you like us to have a look at that?
Helen?
Yes, it is Helen, yeah.
That's fine, I'll message her.
Thank you. That's great. And before we finish, can I thank both of you from Alive Church for coming? It is a church that I've attended both as mayor and as consort and as on other occasions as well. So always pleased to, if you want to say anything, feel free. Well, you don't have to read it.
I'll just say that it's a pleasure to be able to just connect with you guys and listen in on the meeting. I did have some interaction with the SACRE team, but that was in South Yorkshire when we were based in that area. So it's exciting to just connect and learn. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for being with us today. Okay, date and time next meeting is there. Item 14 is for information only for you to note. That's the minutes of the agreed syllabus conference. And I think that brings us to the end of this meeting. So can I thank you for